Before we get into the video, I just wanted to say that today is the very special day where this little bad boy becomes available for pre-order. He is a limited edition plushie that will be available for a while and then never again. So if you want to get your hands on one of these little fluffy bastards, there will be a link down in the description. Thank you for considering that and for supporting the channel. But now, onto the video. So apparently outside of DBD, streaking is to run naked in a field to get attention or whatever. That's not what this video is about. I'm sorry. We're talking about DBD win streaks, going for as many wins in a row as possible, normally with some kind of goal, like proving a point or flexing how good you are at the game or learning and getting better, or maybe just entertaining people. That, for example, is probably the main reason why I did all of my streaks over the years. I've done streaks with almost every killer. Some of them were really easy, like the one we did with Spirit, where everyone gave up. Some of them were very hard and took many attempts, like the one we did with Trapper. That one was really stressful. And some of them, I don't think I could ever do again because they were just so unlikely and so lucky, like the one we did with Myers. I do not know how we got 50 wins with no add-ons on Myers. That could probably never ever happen again. But even if you look at my personal highest win streak of 100 or so wins with Plague, that's not even a world record. In fact, I wasn't even the first person to get that. More than a year before, Aussie streamer Fungus, who by the way was a great inspiration, already got more than 100 wins on Plague. And if we descend into the iceberg of long win streaks, things get really, really ridiculous. Very, very ridiculous. Now let's start with some really good honorable mentions. We have Field Agent Reaper, an American streamer who has taken more than 200 wins on a killer that I think is really hard to play and really inconsistent sometimes, Pinhead. Very impressive, and even more impressive considering he's only using green add-ons and played in a very control the box type of way, not using his more powerful purple add-ons or anything like that. This one was really remarkable, and equally impressive was Sanina, who is a South American streamer who specializes on artists. A very strong killer, but also has quite a few inconsistencies, and they have maybe still an ongoing 200 plus win streaks on artists as well. Another person that I think is incredibly worth commending is One Pump Willie. He was very well known for being a Sadako main for a long time, even though I think these days he's switching to other characters that maybe have more skill expression. But at his best, he got a 400 win streak going, despite being often sniped and even having cheaters on and off. I think this one is also really, really impressive and speaks volumes about his ingenuity. But now we get to the really, really big numbers. The first one is one that I've seen reported in at least multiple places, but I couldn't find any evidence of. It's from an individual named Lonely Moth, who apparently, and this would be insane if it was true, went on a 800 plus win streak on Twins, only running barbecue and chili. Even at their strongest, I think this is absolutely insane. I wish I had some solid evidence or VODs or more accounts of this event taking place to show you, but I thought it was worth mentioning just in the off chance that it is accurate. This would be one of the craziest. But if you think that 800 wins is a lot, yeah, don't worry, we're gonna get even higher. First, we talk about Super Alf, an extremely dedicated nurse player who started on console a long time ago and has slowly grinded a very, very long win streak on nurse. He recently surpassed 1,000 wins, which is absolutely crazy and is still ongoing. And the most impressive part about this streak is just the consistency. Keep in mind, he has gone against cheaters. He has gone against people stream sniping. He has gone against cheaters stream sniping him. And he has still managed to weed out the cheaters and obviously not count the games where survivors were flying around and still managed to go over 1,000 games without one bad match where you suddenly lose everything. And that is mad impressive. But now we get to perhaps the longest officially recorded, and there's evidence for all of this, win streak on killer, which is Momo7's Blight streak. Momo7 also broke the 1,000 mark on Blight, and the way he plays it is absolutely disgusting, by the way. There is absolutely zero mercy in his build or his approach, and he's now at, how long? I think 1,600 plus, still ongoing, not over, could reach 2,000 wins for all we know on his Blight, which is nutty crazy. Like the level of consistency, and mind you, I think he lost a streak prior because one person escaped through the gates and he didn't want that. Like he counted that as a loss, and he reset the streak. He could be higher if he had different criteria. And he's also currently on a 500 win streak on Oni. So here we have an incredibly dedicated, absolutely ruthless player. And the number obviously is as impressive as it gets. But is this the best win streak out there? Is this the most impressive one that anyone has ever done on Killer? You could argue that there's other win streaks that have more merits. Let's talk about them. The streaks that we've seen so far were all very impressive, but one thing to keep in mind is that most of these people were not holding back. They were using the best perks, the best add-ons, and using anything available in order to win. But the streaks that we'll talk about next are different. These are streaks with limitations and self-imposed handicaps that make them even more interesting and to some people even more impressive. And we're going to talk about a really old one from Scott John first. 5 years ago or so, Scott managed to go 32 wins in a row using Cannibal. Back in the day, he was not very good, and the Speed Limiter add-on. It's really hard to explain just how different this killer was back then. His Chenso took a long time to charge up. You could not use only a little bit of it. You had to use the whole charge. It was extremely slow. And with the old speed limiter, you were not often guaranteed to hit the target twice unless they made a big blunder. So basically, he restricted himself to using the Chenso as often as possible, at least for the first hit. And on top of that, he also managed to do this while going out of his way not to tunnel anyone, which is pretty much the most efficient way to play, and also not camping anyone, even though back in the day, survivors didn't have a lot of tools against camping. So all of this makes this accomplishment even more impressive. Going 30 plus wins like this was honestly pretty amazing. And the whole thing is still up on YouTube if you're gonna go watch it. It's like 5 hours of footage. Another one that must have taken many more hours is Altair's incredible Wraith streak. Altair is a Polish streamer that specializes in Wraith. He is a 10,000 hour plus player, very, very experienced. And he managed to go on a 350 plus win streak on Wraith, only using hit and run strategies. Notice that this build, even though it's pretty good, obviously, and fits the playstyle of Wraith really well, it doesn't include any of the super meta commonly seen perks in other streaks, which makes this even more impressive in my eyes as well. But if you want to see a really special build that got even a higher result, check out Nightlight's Nurse streak. Nightlight is also a really experienced player. He plays in competitive and he's very well known in the community. In fact, we've highlighted some of his achievements before. And recently he managed to reach the 500 win streak mark. He's almost now close to 600 wins at the time of recording this video with Nurse, which is one of his best killers. But here's the kicker. He used no perks, no add-ons, and no offerings. This is crazy and shows you just how consistent and strong Nurse can be, even if you have nothing else, even if you only have her base kit. And you might be like, well, can we really expect these high tier killers to be balanced? No, we really cannot. Another competitive player named Virtual, who is an absolute monster and considered by many the best Blight player out there, did a really impressive Blight streak recently as well. He managed to go on his first attempt. Let me stress this, on his first attempt, he managed to go 29 games, but get a load of this. The winning condition was not to lose more than 1 gen. That's right. If he lost more than 1 gen, he considered it a loss. And on his first attempt, he went almost 30 games without losing more than 1 gen. That is ridiculous. And you might be like, well, Odds, it is Blight. It's not impressive. It's really, really strong character. But then he did the same thing with Wraith. And this time, the conditions were slightly different, but very similar. So you know how in most of your games, you chase one guy and then you down him and then 3 gens pop? That was his loss condition. With Wraith, if he lost 3 gens, that was a loss. He went 44 games with Wraith, not losing 3 gens. The moment he lost a 3rd gen, that was the end of the streak, and it didn't matter that he could kill all of them. And this, to me, is really crazy. Now, you gotta keep in mind that many of the streaks that we talked about, especially the older ones, this happened before MMR was introduced. And nowadays, as I explained in a recent video, MMR has changed. And now players that win a lot are more likely to be paired with other players that also win a lot on the opposing side. So doing these tricks should be a lot harder. Me personally, as a streamer that deals with, you know, stream sniping and shooters and so on, I am far less inclined to continue doing them in the future. But if you want to do them yourself, you know, I'll be there watching, and I'll be there to see what it is that you accomplish. And if you know of any other streak that is well documented, that deserves to be in the pantheon of champions, that is this video, please do let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye bye.